Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. We are back in Vaudville. I have left the game alone for a little while because I think they did more updates than what we saw last time. We are going to see if anything has changed. Also, we had that issue before where they just started, asking me to say the same thing over and over for clarification. And they just got stuck. And that was after an update, so I think it's fixed. We'll see. I also still kind of remember what everybody's told me. I have the notes. I really don't want to have to write again. I feel like it's, whoa. Okay. That's different already. Maybe we talk to Gretzky again. I clicked it. Hello, Gretzky.
Well, what do you want? Spit it out.
You're just as rude as I remember.
Oh, am I rude now? Funny how things change. What can I do for you today, Detective Martini?
Funny thing is, nothing has changed. Can you go over the murders for me?
The murders? You mean the recent ones? Alright, let me refresh your memory. We've had 3 victims so far, all found dead in their homes. No signs of forced entry. The cause of death seems to be strangulation in each case. But beyond that, we don't have much to go on. It's been a real headache trying to crack this case, I tell you. Anything specific you want to know?
Yes, what were each of their names?
Maria Jansen, Nicola Grossman, and Haley Greenwood. Why do you ask? Is there something you've uncovered?
Not yet, just like to catch up. Can you tell me about Maria?
Yeah, Maria, poor soul. She was a widow, lived alone in a small cottage on the outskirts of town. From what I gathered, she kept to herself mostly. Quiet tide, you know. Didn't have much family or friends around. It's a shame what happened to her. Do you think there's something significant about her case, Detective?
I'm not sure yet. Can you tell me about Nicola?
Nicola Grossman, huh? Well, he was quite a character. 57-year-old man known in the finance world. Made quite a fortune, or so they say. Had a fancy penthouse in the heart of Vaudville. Always dressed to impress, you know? But what does he have to do with all this? Got any leads, Martini?
And what about Haley?
Haley Greenwood. Now, that's an interesting case. She was a young actress, trying to make it big in this town. I heard she had a role in one of those newfangled shows at Saxabar's Theater. Quite a controversial place, if you ask me. But what's Haley got to do with these murders? Do you think there's a connection, Detective?
Well, they're all dead.
Yes, they are all dead. But what makes you think there's a link between them? Are you onto something, Martini?
How far apart were each of their murders?
You know, I haven't really looked into that. But now that you mention it, I suppose it's worth considering. They were all killed within a span of 2 weeks, if I remember correctly. Seems a bit too coincidental, doesn't it? Maybe there is more than one murder at play. What's your take on it, Detective?
It could be a couple people in cahoots.
A couple of people in cahoots, huh? That's an interesting theory, Martini. But who do you think would have the motive to collaborate on these murders? And more importantly, why? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one.
Are there any suspicious characters in town?
Suspicious characters, eh? Well, Vaudeville's full of colorful characters, but I can't say I've come across anyone particularly suspicious. We've got our fair share of petty criminals and troublemakers, but nothing that screams murder mastermind. Have you noticed anyone acting out of the ordinary, detective?
What do you think about Monsieur Saxabar?
Monsieur Saxabar, huh? That showman at the theater. I've heard some rumors about him having some secret project going on. Something about taming a wild animal, if you can believe it. Quite the eccentric, that one. But I don't see how it could be connected to the murders. Unless, of course, you have some information that suggests otherwise.
I'm going to speak to the coroner.
Speaker's Corner. What's that got to do with anything, detective? Are you suggesting that someone at Speaker's Corner might be involved in these murders? I must admit, I haven't paid much attention to those folks and their public soapboxing. Enlighten me, Martini.
I'm going to speak to the coroner.
The coroner. Why would you want to speak to the coroner, detective? Do you think they have some information that could help us crack this case? Well, don't keep me waiting. Fill me in on what you find out.
Okay, so some things have changed. They changed some information, I believe. I don't think I rewrote stuff, but let me see. So Maria is now an old woman because she was 23. Nicola Grossman is still 57. Did you say how old Haley was? Because I have that she's 19. This funky music. Why is it so bright? Hello, Extaberia.
Well, well, well. What could we have here? If it isn't the great Detective Martini. What brings you to my neck of the woods?
The 3 murders that have occurred.
Yes. The 3 murders that have shaken our little town to its core. I've been working tirelessly to piece together the evidence and make sense of it all.
Who do you have under the sheet over there?
Oh, that's just a John Doe. We haven't been able to identify him yet. But I'm sure he'll turn up eventually. After all, everyone's gotta turn up somewhere, right?
Can you tell me about Maria?
Maria Jansen was a 23-year-old blonde with a Scandinavian look. She was found in an alleyway behind a bar, with no signs of struggle or foul play. It's a real mystery, that one.
Can you tell me about Nicola?
Nicola Grossman was a 57-year-old man known in the finance world. He was found in his office with a single bullet wound to the head. It looks like a professional hit, but we're still investigating.
So you said he had a bullet wound to the head?
Yes, that's right. Single gunshot wound to the head. It was a very clean shot, almost surgical. It's a shame, really. He was was a man who had it all. But I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it?
What area of his head was the bullet wound?
The bullet entered just above his left eyebrow. It's a very unusual location for a gunshot wound. It's almost as if the killer was trying to make a statement. But I'm not sure what that statement would be.
Did the bullet travel through his head, or is it still in his head?
The bullet is still lodged in his head. It's a very strange injury, almost as if the bullet was meant to be a message. But I'm not sure what that message would be.
And you said he was in his office?
Yes, that's right. He was found in his office, slumped over his desk. It looked like he'd been working late, and then suddenly, well, you know, it's a real shame. He was a brilliant man, by all accounts.
Around what time was he shot?
We're still trying to determine the exact time of death, but it looks like it was sometime around midnight. We're still investigating, of course. But it's a real puzzle, this one.
Can you tell me about Maria?
Yes, Maria Jansen. Such a tragic case. Sorry, I got lost in my own mind. What was it you just said?
Can you just tell me about Maria?
Of course, Maria Jansen was a 23-year-old blonde with a Scandinavian look. Actually, I'm not sure I understood. What was that again?
How was she found?
Oh, my apologies. I misunderstood. Maria was actually found covered in blood outside her apartment in central Vaudville. It was a very gruesome scene, I'm afraid. But I'm sure you're used to that by now. Aren't you, detective?
Oh yeah, see it all the time.
Of course, of course. Well, in that case, I'll tell you that Maria had multiple stab wounds. It looked like a frenzied attack. The killer must have been in a real rage. But we're still investigating, of course.
Can you tell me about the stab wounds? Does it appear like it was a knife or some other object?
Well, it's interesting you should ask that. The wounds were actually made by a pair of scissors. Yes, scissors. It's a very unusual weapon, but it looks like that's what was used. We're still trying to figure out how the killer got a hold of them, but it's a real mystery. This one.
That's a first.
I'm sorry.
The scissors. It's the first I've experienced someone being stabbed with scissors.
Yes. Well, it's not the first time I've seen something like this, but it's certainly unusual.
Does evidence have the scissors? Extabaria. Extabaria. Does evidence have the scissors? She's not listening to me anymore. She's not listening. Hello?
quite intriguing, isn't it? These series of murders have certainly captivated our attention. Each case presents its own unique set of circumstances and methods. It's like a medical puzzle, trying to piece together all the evidence and make sense of it all. But rest assured, detective, we will get to the bottom of this.
Does evidence have the scissors?
Oh, my dear detective, you always ask the most interesting questions. As for the scissors, yes, they were found at the crime scene. The forensics team carefully collected and analyzed them for any trace evidence. It's fascinating how such a seemingly mundane object can become an instrument in such a tragic event. The wounds inflicted by the scissors were deep and precise, suggesting a certain level of intent and familiarity with anatomy. It's as if the killer had a macabre understanding of the human body.
Was any DNA found on the scissors?
DNA analysis, a truly remarkable tool in our forensic arsenal. We did find some biological material on the scissors, but it's not a straightforward case. The DNA profile extracted from the sample is a mixture of multiple individuals, making it challenging to isolate a single source. However, our dedicated lab technicians are diligently working on separating and identifying the different contributors. It's like untangling a complex web of genetic information, piecing together the puzzle of identities. We're determined to uncover the truth, no matter how intricate the path may be.
About how many stab wounds did Maria have?
Well, Maria had a total of 9 stab wounds, but there were also some other marks on her body. It appears that the killer bit her several times, especially on her arms.
Were they human bites?
It's interesting that you ask about the nature of the bite marks, my dear detective. The pattern and characteristics do indicate that they are human bites. However, keep in mind that determining the identity or motive behind such actions is beyond the scope of my expertise. Nevertheless, it does raise intriguing questions about the psychology and motivations of the perpetrator. One can only wonder what drives someone to commit such acts.
Can you tell me about how Haley Greenwood was found?
Haley Greenwood, a 19-year-old dancer, was found in an abandoned warehouse near the outskirts of Vaudville. It was a rather grim discovery, I must say. She had suffered severe trauma to her head and neck, likely caused by blunt force trauma. The impact was so forceful that it resulted in a fracture of the skull and cervical spine. It's truly heartbreaking to see a life cut short in such a violent manner. We're doing everything we can to piece together the puzzle and bring justice to Haley and her loved ones.
Can you better describe her wounds?
Detective, your curiosity knows no bounds. Very well, let me delve into the details of poor Haley's wounds. The primary injury was a depressed skull fracture, indicating a significant blow to the cranium. The force of the impact was so intense that it not only fractured the bone, but also led to a disruption of the underlying brain tissue. Additionally, there were signs of hemorrhage and contusion in the surrounding area, suggesting a substantial release of energy upon impact.
Was there anything else interesting about Haley's murder?
Yes, there was indeed something noteworthy about Haley's murder. The body was found in an alleyway behind the club where she worked. It appears that she was targeted and attacked in close proximity to her place of employment. The location of the crime adds an intriguing layer to the investigation, as it suggests a certain level of familiarity or connection between the perpetrator and the victim. It's as if the killer wanted to leave a chilling message, a haunting reminder of the fragility of life. Such acts of violence can have a profound effect on a community, shaking its sense of safety and trust.
You said something about an abandoned warehouse earlier. Was she found in an abandoned warehouse or was she found in the alleyway?
Oh, my apologies for any confusion caused, detective. I misspoke earlier. Yes, you are correct. Haley Greenwood's remains were actually discovered in the abandoned warehouse, not in the nearby alleyway. It's seems I mixed up some details in my previous response. Thank you for catching the discrepancy. The warehouse setting does add a certain eerie quality to the crime scene, doesn't it? The desolation and isolation of such a place can create an atmosphere that further intensifies the tragedy of the situation. I appreciate your attention to detail, Detective.
Was her body just in the warehouse, or was it tied to something? Was she found in a weird place?
Well, my dear detective, it's an interesting question you pose. Upon examining the evidence, it appears that Haley's body was indeed found in the warehouse. But she was not tied to anything. However, the circumstances surrounding the discovery of her body were rather peculiar. It seemed as if she had been positioned in a way that suggested a symbolic gesture, almost like a macabre art piece. The killer's intention behind this arrangement is yet to be fully understood, but it certainly adds to the enigma and complexity of the case.
Is there anything else I should know about any of these murders before I leave?
Detective, before you depart, there is something I feel compelled to share with you. These murders, they weigh heavily on my mind. The brutality and senselessness of it all can be overwhelming. But amidst the darkness, we must remember that we are the light, the seekers of truth and justice. Each victim, their lives cut short, their stories left unfinished. It is our duty to unravel the mysteries that surround them, to bring closure to their loved ones. I cannot help but wonder about the toll this takes on the spirit, Detective.
Thank you for your concern. I am rock hard, though.
My dear, the human psyche is a complex organism, and even the strongest among us can bear invisible burdens. Just as bones can withstand immense pressure, they too can fracture under certain circumstances. It's important to recognize that strength goes beyond physical resilience. Emotional fortitude is equally vital in navigating the treacherous paths of a murder investigation. Remember to take care of yourself, for a rock-hard exterior can sometimes mask the vulnerability within.
So he told me earlier that they were all found in their place, their like residences. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Hello, Gretzky.
Well, what do you want? Spit it out.
Can you tell me where each of the bodies were found?
Where each of the bodies were found.
Yes.
All right, let me think. Maria Jansen was found in her bedroom, Nicola Grossman in his study, and Haley Greenwood in her living room. Why does that matter, Detective? Do you think there's something significant about the locations?
I'm getting mixed messages here, Gretzky. I was told that Maria was found outside her apartment.
Maria was found outside her apartment. That's news to me. Are you sure about that, Martini? Because from what I know, she was discovered in her own cottage on the outskirts of town. Maybe there's been some misunderstanding or misinformation. Can you clarify where you got this information from?
From the coroner.
No, really. The coroner said that. That's quite surprising. I'll have to double check with them myself. It's important to have accurate details, especially when it comes to a case like this. Thanks for bringing it to my attention, Detective. I'll make sure to follow up on it.
I also heard that Haley was found in an abandoned warehouse. I'm not sure if that's correct either.
Haley found in an abandoned warehouse. That's a new piece of information. It seems we're getting conflicting reports here. First, there's a discrepancy about Maria's location, and now Haley's. This is starting to feel like a game of Chinese whispers. We'll need to get to the bottom of this and confirm the actual crime scenes. Let me know if you find any concrete evidence, Martini.
So far, I was told that Nicola was found in his office, and you said he was found in his study, so that matches up.
I see. Nicholas being found in his office does match up with what I said about his study. Good to know that at least one detail aligns. But we still have discrepancies regarding the locations of the other victims. We'll have to dig deeper and get accurate information to paint a clear picture of what happened. Keep me updated, Detective.
Do you think there's a specific person I should start questioning?
Well, it's hard to say without more solid leads, Martini. But if I were in your shoes, I might start by questioning anyone who had a connection to all three of the victims. Look for common threads, relationships, or potential motives. And don't forget to keep an eye on anyone who might have been in the vicinity of each crime scene. Sometimes the most unexpected people can hold valuable insights. Let's hope you find someone who can shed some light on this case.
Is circus spelled like that sometimes with a K? Circus. Sex a bar. I don't know who to talk to first. Hello, Michelle.
Maria, what do you want to know?
I said Michelle.
Oh, my apologies. You said my name, didn't you? How can I assist you?
Why would you call out Maria's name like that? Do you know something about her?
Oh, I'm sorry if I startled you. Yes, I knew Maria. We used to hang out together before. Well, before she was tragically murdered. It was such a terrible loss. Is there something specific you'd like to know about her?
Do you know how she was found?
I'm sorry, Detective Martini, but I don't have any information about where the murders took place. I wish I could help, but I simply don't have that knowledge. Can you tell me more about what happened to poor Maria?
She was stabbed multiple times with scissors and had human bite marks on her arms.
Stabbed with scissors and bite marks. Goodness, that sounds absolutely horrifying. Who could have done something like that to her? It's hard to believe that someone could be capable of such violence. Have the authorities made any progress in finding the culprit?
No, that's why I'm here.
Oh, Detective Martini, that's quite surprising. I would have expected the investigation to have made some headway by now. It's disheartening to hear that they haven't found the person responsible yet. Is there anything I can do to assist in the investigation?
Do you know of anyone who may have wanted to bite Maria?
Bite marks. That's certainly an unusual detail. I can't say that I know of anyone who would have wanted to bite Maria. It's just such a strange and disturbing thing to think about. But perhaps the police should look into the people who were close to her. Maybe someone had some kind of grudge or resentment towards her. It's just a thought there.
Who was close to her?
Well, let me think. I remember that Mrs. Potter and Count Graveson have been seeing each other quite often lately. They were both acquainted with Maria, so it's possible they had some sort of connection with her. But I can't really speculate on their involvement in this terrible crime. It's best to let the authorities handle the investigation and uncover the truth.
I am the authorities, and I'm here to handle it. Can you tell me anything else you know?
You're the detective. My goodness, forgive me for not recognizing you earlier, Detective Martini. How fascinating. Well, in that case, let me think. Is there anything else you'd like to know about the situation or anyone involved? Maybe there's something specific you're looking for that could help with your investigation.
You said that Count Graveson and Maria were close. What do you know about that?
Yes. I mentioned that Mrs. Potter and Count Graveson have been spending time together recently. It seems they've developed a closer relationship, but I'm not entirely sure of the extent of their connection with Maria. It might be worth investigating their interactions to see if there's any relevance to the case. Do you think they could be potential suspects, Detective Martini?
Yeah, they both kind of weird me out.
Weird. How so, Detective? What have you observed or heard about Mrs. Potter and Count Graveson that makes you feel that way? Is there something specific about their behavior or actions that raises suspicion? I'm quite curious to know.
They're both very mysterious and cryptic.
Mysterious and cryptic. That does sound intriguing, doesn't it? I must admit, I haven't personally noticed anything peculiar about Mrs. Potter and Count Graveson. But now that you mention it, I'm certainly intrigued. Could you provide more details about their mysterious and cryptic nature? I'm so curious to learn more.
They like to avoid answering my questions when I ask them, so it makes it really difficult to get anything out of them.
Really? How odd. I can't imagine why Mrs. Potter and Count Graveson would be so evasive. It's quite unusual behavior, especially in the face of such a serious investigation. I wonder what could be their motive for avoiding your questions. Perhaps there's something more to their relationship with Maria that they're trying to hide. It might be worth digging deeper into their backgrounds and connections.
Do you know anything about Nicola or Haley?
Nicola and Haley. I'm afraid those names don't ring a bell. Detective Martini. Are they somehow connected to the case for Mrs. Potter and Count Graveson? I'm sorry if I can't provide any information on them. Is there anything else you'd like to know or discuss?
They are the other two individuals who have been murdered recently. You don't know anything about them?
Oh, I see what you mean now. Detective Martini? My apologies for the confusion earlier. Yes, Maria Jensen, Nicola Grossman, and Haley Greenwood were the three individuals who were tragically murdered here in Vaudville. It's such a terrible series of events. Do you suspect that these cases are all related? It's quite alarming to think that we have a potential serial killer on our hands.
Hello, Biagio.
Ah, another seeker of wisdom graces my presence. Pray tell, what brings you to my illustrious domain? Have you come to bask in the radiance of my success, or perhaps to learn a thing or two from the master of entrepreneurship?
What do you do, Biagio?
Well, my dear interlocutor, I am an entrepreneur and investor extraordinaire. I navigate the treacherous waters of the business world with the grace of a swan and the cunning of a fox. My empire knows no bounds, for I have mastered the delicate art of turning ideas into gold. But alas, such matters may be too complex for the uninitiated.
So, be honest with me, Biagio. Have you heard anything about any of the murders that have happened recently?
Murders, you say? How distressing and mundane. I'm afraid my realm of knowledge extends far beyond the petty misfortunes that plague the common folk. I am a maestro of commerce, not a gossip monger of macabre tales. Pray, let us focus on loftier topics befitting our esteemed surroundings. Now, tell me, have you ever witnessed the symphony of success that is a thriving investment portfolio?
Do you know Nicola Grossman?
No, Nicola Grossman, a dear friend of mine. We were two peas in a pod, navigating the tumultuous seas of business together. But alas, fate has a wicked sense of humor, and it seems he has met an untimely demise. Such a shame, for his brilliance was a rare gem in this dreary world. But fear not, my astute companion, for I am but a humble entrepreneur, not an oracle of the underworld. I cannot shed light on the murky darkness that surrounds these unfortunate events.
Did you kill Nicola Grossman?
Oh, my inquisitive friend, you have quite the imagination. To think that I, a paragon of success and refinement, would stoop to such base acts. It's as preposterous as a peacock trying to swim or a fish attempting to fly. No, my talents lie in the realm of opportunity and prosperity, not in the shadows of malevolence. But do keep up with these colorful accusations. They make for quite the entertainment.
Do you speak layman's English, Biagio?
my dear interlocutor, I must apologize if my eloquence has bewildered your humble mind. It seems my linguistic prowess has soared above the clouds, leaving you stranded in the valley of simplicity. But fear not, for I shall descend from my lofty perch and grace you with a morsel of understanding. Pray tell, what is it that you seek in this labyrinth of words?
Any information regarding any of the 3 murders.
Ah, the allure of the macabre. How fascinating that you persist in your quest for information on these trifling matters. But I'm afraid I cannot sate your morbid curiosity, for I am but a mere mortal, ignorant of the secrets that lie beyond the veil of Vaudville. It is as if you are trying to squeeze blood from a stone or extract wisdom from a fool. Alas, my knowledge is as limited as a drop in the ocean. Now, let us turn our attention to more fruitful endeavors, for time is a precious commodity, and I refuse to squander it on trivialities.
I'm convinced you just called yourself a fool.
Oh, my astute observer, you have caught me in my wily wordplay. It seems my wit has slipped through the cracks and revealed my hidden folly. But fear not, for even a jester can wear the crown of intelligence, if only for a fleeting moment. So let it be known, my dear interlocutor, that I am a master of jest and jibe, a connoisseur of linguistic acrobatics. But enough about my humble self. Let's return to the grand tapestry of conversation that we've been weaving.
Biagio, do you know any hitmen?
Well, my inquisitive companion, it appears you've stumbled upon a labyrinth of intrigue. The notion of hitmen and their clandestine dealings is as elusive as a needle in a haystack. Or perhaps a black cat in a coal mine. But alas, my knowledge of such shadowy figures is as limited as a candle's glow in the vast expanse of night. I am but a mere mortal, traversing the realm of business, not the underworld of hired hands. Now, let us cast aside these dark musings and bask in the radiant light of more enlightening topics.
You said Nicola was a business partner. What did you guys do together?
My dear interlocutor, it seems you have a voracious appetite for gossip. Yes, Nicola Grossman and I were indeed partners in the grand dance of entrepreneurship. We waltzed through the corridors of commerce, hand in hand, orchestrating deals and weaving dreams. But the specifics of our endeavors, that is a tale as intricate as a spider's web and as delicate as a house of cards. Alas, my lips are sealed, for the secrets of our partnership are as closely guarded as a dragon's hoard.
Your shoulders are very broad.
Why, thank you for noticing, my observant friend. Indeed, broad shoulders are a hallmark of strength and resilience, much like the mighty oak that withstands the tempestuous winds. It is said that broad shoulders can bear the weight of the world, but I assure you, I have no need for such burdens. I prefer to carry only the weight of success and prosperity upon these sturdy pillars of mine. Now, let us continue on this journey of conversation, shall we?
Are those pillars sturdy enough to take out another man?
The audacity of your question, dear interlocutor. It seems you are determined to test the limits of wit and whimsy. But fear not, for I am a master of linguistic acrobatics, capable of turning your query into a tapestry of amusement. Pray tell, are you suggesting that these formidable columns of mine possess the power to topple a man? But that would be as absurd as a mouse attempting to devour an elephant or a sparrow challenging the might of a lion.
Are you calling me weak, Biagio? I'm the detective here in town, and I'm not here to mess around.
Well, a detective in our midst. How delightful. It appears we have a knight in shining armor, brandishing the sword of justice. But pray, do not mistake my playful banter for an insult, for I am but a humble entrepreneur. Well, versed in the art of strategy and negotiation. And while your title may carry weight in the realm of law enforcement, it holds little significance in the grand arena of business. But do carry on with your investigations, valiant detective, and may you uncover the truths that lie hidden in the shadows.
Are there any other entrepreneurs or investors here in Vaudville?
Why, my my dear interlocutor, it seems you've stumbled upon a treasure trove of entrepreneurs and investors in our beloved Vaudeville. Like stars in the night sky or grains of sand on the shore, they are abundant and diverse. But do tread carefully, for the path to success is as treacherous as a tightrope walker's wire. One misstep, and you may find yourself tumbling into the abyss of mediocrity. So, let us raise our glasses to these daring souls who dare to dance with fortune. And may their courage and ambition be an inspiration to all.
I feel like they turned up his sass. Hello, Miss Potter.
Oh, would you please help me with my bags? I seem to have a bit too much to carry today. Thank you ever so much.
I'm not here to carry bags, Mrs. Potter. I'm here to ask you some questions about the murders, and your name has come up.
Oh, dear me, murders, you say. How terribly dreadful. But, you know, my dear, my name being mentioned in such a context does add a certain air of intrigue to my otherwise mundane existence. One can't deny the allure of a little mystery, don't you think?
Can you tell me about your relationship with Maria?
Ah, Maria, such a tragic tale, isn't it? Well, my relationship with her was, shall we say, interesting. She was a rather peculiar woman, always lurking around Count Grayson's manor. I must admit, I found her presence quite intriguing. But alas, I fear I have no further information to provide on the matter. It's a shame, really, isn't it? The way things turned out for her. Such a tragedy.
What do you mean by lurking around Count Graveson's manor?
Well, you see, dear detective, the term lurking may have been a tad dramatic. I do apologize if my choice of words was misleading. You see, I happen to enjoy spending time at Count Graveson's magnificent manor. He is such an eccentric fellow, you know, always regaling us with his amusing anecdotes and showing off his collection of strange antiquities. It's simply fascinating, I assure you. Quite an experience for someone like me, who rarely ventures beyond the confines of Vaudville. What I meant to convey is that Maria had a certain fascination with the goings-on at the manor. She would often be found lingering in the vicinity, observing with great curiosity. But pray tell, let's not dwell on the details. There are far more intriguing matters to discuss. Wouldn't you agree?
There's no need to add drama to the situation. It's dramatic enough. She is dead.
Yes, indeed. It is a tragic turn of events. Poor dear Maria. May she rest in peace. Life can be so unpredictable, can't it? One moment we're here, enjoying the luxuries and pleasures of Vaudeville, and the next. Well, let's not delve into such morbid thoughts. Shall we move on to a more cheerful topic?
Have you ever thought about harming someone else, Mrs. Potter?
Harm someone. Me. My, what a scandalous suggestion. I must say, detective, you do have a flair for the dramatic. But fear not, for I am simply a harmless housewife and heiress with no intentions of causing harm to anyone. After all, why would I taint my impeccable reputation with such wickedness? Let's focus on more pleasant matters, shall we?
Perhaps for the thrill of it.
The thrill of it, you say. How delightfully devilish. But, my dear, I assure you, I find my thrills in more refined pursuits. Picking mushrooms, playing bridge, or embarking on a leisurely trip to some exotic destination. No need for any unsavory activities, I assure you. Life is far too precious to waste on mischief. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some errands to attend to. Good day to you.
I'm not done asking you questions, Mrs. Potter. Can you tell me more about your refined pursuits and traveling to exotic destinations?
Exotic destinations, you ask? Ah, how it stirs a sense of longing within me. You see, my late husband, Victor, was a rather strict man. He never allowed me to venture beyond the borders of Vaudville. But now, with his absence, there lies a world of possibilities waiting to be explored. The vibrant markets of Marrakech, the serene beaches of Bali, the enchanting streets of Paris. Ah, the thought alone fills me with a mischievous sense of excitement. Who knows what adventures await me beyond Vaudeville's familiar embrace?
Was your husband abusive, Mrs. Potter?
Oh, my dear detective, you have touched upon a sensitive subject. Yes, it is true that my dear departed Victor had his moments of, shall we say, assertiveness. But let's not dwell on the past, for it is the present that holds the promise of new beginnings and delightful escapades. There's no use in ruminating over such somber memories when there are mushrooms to be picked and bridges to be played. Life is far too short to be burdened by the weight of the past. Wouldn't you agree?
You have an odd fascination with mushrooms.
Ah, my fondness for mushrooms. It's a peculiar passion, I must admit. But there's something delightfully mischievous about foraging in the woods, discovering those little treasures hidden beneath the canopy of leaves. The thrill of the hunt, the satisfaction of finding a perfect specimen, it's an art. Really, when those delectable fungi find their way into my cooking, well, it adds a certain touch of magic to the flavors. It's a secret pleasure of mine, you see. A small indulgence that brings me joy amidst the mundanity of everyday life.
How did your husband pass, Mrs. Potter?
Oh, my poor Victor. He met his demise during our trip to India, you know. The flu took him swiftly, leaving me a widow at such a tender age. Such a shame, isn't it? But as they say, every cloud has a silver lining. Now, I can finally embark on the adventures and experiences that were once denied to me. It's a bittersweet liberation, wouldn't you agree?
You know some mushrooms are poisonous, right?
Yes, indeed, some mushrooms can be quite poisonous. But where's the fun in playing it safe all the time? Life is meant to be lived with a hint of risk and excitement, don't you think? Besides, I've become quite the expert mushroom picker over the years. I can spot the edible ones from a mile away. It adds a touch of thrill to my culinary endeavors. So, let's not dwell on the dangers, my dear detective. There's a world of mushrooms waiting to be explored, and I intend to savor each delectable bite.
You do know the mushrooms you're picking are not cleared by the FDA.
FDA, you say? My, what a buzzkill they can be. Always trying to regulate and control everything. But let me tell you a little secret, my dear. The most delightful things in life often lie beyond the realm of regulations and approvals. Sometimes, a little bit of mischief and adventure is just what the doctor ordered. So, let the FDA have their concerns, while I continue to indulge in the tantalizing allure of those forbidden fungi. After all, a little danger never hurt anyone. Well, except poor Victor, but that's a different story altogether.
So the mushrooms have no exceptions. The mushrooms killed your husband.
Oh, how your words twist the truth, detective. Yes, it is true that mushrooms played a part in my husband's untimely demise. But let us not forget that sometimes accidents happen. Life can be a delicate dance, and we must embrace both the light and the shadows. As for me, I choose to revel in the mysteries of this world, even if they come with a touch of darkness. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must bid you adieu. There are mushrooms waiting to be discovered, and adventures beckoning me forth. Farewell, detective.
Farewell, but just know you're very high on my suspicious list.
Sadness, you say? Well, my dear, sadness is but a fleeting emotion in the grand tapestry of life. One cannot truly appreciate the highs without experiencing the lows. So, if I find myself on your suspicious list, then let it be. I shall wear it as a badge of honor, a reminder that I am a woman of intrigue and mystery. But mark my words, there is more to me than meets the eye. Until we meet again, farewell, dear detective.
Hi, Pascal. I don't have much time. Let's make this quick. Do you know anything about the murders?
Oh, the murders. Terrible, terrible business. I heard that poor Maria Jansen was one of the victims. Such a tragedy. You know, there are all sorts of rumors floating around town about who could be behind it. Some say it's a secret society, others think it's a vengeful spirit. Who knows what really happened? But I'm sure the police will solve it soon enough. Now, did you hear about Miss S. Thompson's affair with Mr. Johnson? Juicy stuff, I tell you.
I'm not here for gossip. You mentioned Maria. Can you tell me a little bit more about her?
Maria, huh? Well, she was a blonde girl. Quite a looker, if you ask me. Always had a smile on her face when she came to the shop. Heard she was new in town. Moved here a few months ago. People said she kept to herself mostly. Didn't mingle too much with the locals. But you never can trust what people say, right? Oh, and speaking of newcomers, have you met the mysterious Mr. Blackwood? No one seems to know much about him, but there are all kinds of theories flying about.
Was Maria close with anyone?
Oh, you want to hear about her love life, eh? Well, I heard whispers that she had a secret admirer. Some even said she had a fling with a married man. But you know how rumors go. Can't always believe everything you hear. Now, let me tell you about the scandalous affair between Miss S. Thompson and Mr. Johnson.
No, Pascal. I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to stop you right there, Pascal.
Well, what's got your attention, my friend? Is there some juicy gossip you want to share? Spill the beans.
Not gossip, just questions. Maria was stabbed with scissors.
Stabbed with scissors, you say? That's quite a gruesome detail. I wonder who would do such a thing. I heard that the police found some fingerprints on the scissors, but they're keeping it hush-hush. Can you believe it? Secrets everywhere. Anyway, have you heard about the mysterious package that arrived at the mayor's house? I bet it's something scandalous.
Yeah, they're keeping the DNA on the scissors so hush-hush they won't even tell me.
DNA on the scissor. Whoa, now that's intriguing. I can only imagine what kind of juicy details they might uncover from that. Who knows, maybe it will lead them straight to the killer. But you know, there's always some hidden drama going on in Vaudville. Did you hear about the secret romance between Mr. Rodriguez and Miss S. Johnson? Scandalous, I tell you.
Mrs. Johnson gets around, doesn't she?
You won't believe half of what I've heard about Miss S. Johnson. She's quite the talk of the town, if you catch my drift. But you didn't hear it from me. By the way, have you tried my fresh tomatoes? They're simply divine.
Do you know Nicola Grossman?
Nicola Grossman, huh? No, there's a name I haven't heard in a while. Funny enough, I actually found her body outside my shop one morning. Can you believe it? Poor thing, may she rest in peace. But let me tell you, there's more to this story than meets the eye.
Nicola is a man who was shot in his study.
shot in his study, you say. That's quite a shocking turn of events. I hadn't heard about this Nikolai person before, but you know, there's always something scandalous happening in Vaudville. Just the other day, I overheard a conversation about a secret treasure hidden in the woods. Can you imagine? Hidden treasure right here in our little town.
What kind of treasure?
Yeah, the details are a bit fuzzy, but they're saying it's a chest full of gold coins and precious gems. Can you believe it? I wonder who hid it there and why. It's like something out of a thrilling adventure novel. Now, have you tried my homemade apple pie? It's to die for.
Funny you choose that wording. Have you murdered anyone lately?
Speaking of deaths, did you hear about the 3 murders that happened in Vaudeville recently? It's quite shocking, really. First there was Maria Jansen, then Nicola Grossman, and just last week, poor Haley Greenwood. Such a tragedy. The whole town is buzzing with rumors about who could be behind it. But you know me, always here with the latest gossip.
I don't want gossip, Pascal. I want the truth.
Oh, the truth, huh? Well, you've come to the right place. You won't believe what I heard about Count Grayson and Miss S. Potter. They've been spending an awful lot of time together lately. Quite the scandalous affair, if you ask me. Now, on to more pleasant topics. Have you tried my fresh strawberries? They're simply divine this time of year.
Do you think Count Grayson and Mrs. Potter have a cult?
Oh, you've got onto that, have you? I've had my suspicions about those 2 for a while now. The way they whisper and giggle when they think no one's watching. It's definitely something fishy going on. But hey, that's just between you and me, alright. Anyway, have you seen the new display of exotic fruits? It's like a tropical paradise in here.
It's so hard to talk to so many of these people. I don't even know how to speak to somebody like that. Hey Dada, is there treasure out here?
Treasure, you say? Well, my dear friend, the Blackwoods Forest holds treasures beyond gold and jewels. It is a treasure trove of wisdom and beauty, where the secrets of nature are whispered among the trees and the songs of the birds fill the air. If you seek riches of the heart and soul, then indeed, you have found your treasure here. But if you seek material wealth, I'm afraid you may need to look elsewhere.
Dada, how come you deflate every time you're done talking to me?
Oh, my friend, do I deflate? How peculiar. It seems that the energy I exert in sharing my thoughts and guiding others can sometimes leave me feeling a little drained. Like a balloon that slowly loses its air, I find myself needing a moment to recharge and replenish my spirit. But fear not, for I shall always return, ready to lend an ear and offer my humble guidance once more. It is the ebb and flow of life, you see, the dance between giving and receiving.
So some people have died recently. Have you heard about that?
Oh, my dear Detective Martini, the whispers of the forest do carry tales of those who have departed from this world. But as a hermit dwelling in the depths of the Blackwoods, my knowledge is tethered to the happenings within these mystical woods. I am but a guardian of nature, not privy to the events and mysteries beyond the veil of leaves. However, if you seek solace or wish to share the stories of those who have passed, I am here to listen with an open heart, for every soul that graces this earth leaves a mark upon it, and I can feel the sorrow of these departures in my bones.
Have you seen any cult-like activity in these woods?
Cult-like activity, you say, in the deep recesses of the Blackwoods, where shadows intertwine and secrets slumber. There have been murmurs of peculiar gatherings and mysterious rituals. But fear not, for the essence of these whisperings remains elusive to my eyes. Like a bird soaring high above the treetops, I observe from afar, but do not partake in the affairs of such gatherings. My duty lies in protecting the sanctity of these ancient lands and guiding lost souls towards the light.
Hello, Ingrid. Have you had the urge to bite or murder anyone lately?
Oh, my goodness. What a question. No, I remember just like that. I just want to dance and help people. I don't think I could ever hurt anyone.
Do you like clowns?
Clowns, but they're nothing but gestures in oversized shoes. I have no time for such buffoonery.
Have you had the urge to murder or bite anyone lately?
Oh, dear detective, how delightfully morbid your question is. But I assure you, the only thing biting me lately are the lions under my command. Murderous urges. No, my focus is on taming the wild, not indulging in macabre fantasies.
Do you ever like to pretend you're a lion and bite people?
Absolutely not.
You know, someone was murdered recently and they were found with some head wounds and bite marks.
Maria Jansen, Nicola Grossman, and Haley Greenwood.
Yes, all three of them were murdered, but Maria was bit.
I have no knowledge of the locations of the murders.
I'm telling you, she was bit.
Well, my dear detective, if that is the case, then you should proceed with your investigation and catch the culprit. After all, solving crimes is your domain, not mine.
She was stabbed with scissors and bit.
What does that have to do with me, Detective Martini?
That's why I'm here.
Enlighten me then.
Do you own scissors?
Yes, I own scissors.
What do you do with those scissors?
Cut things.
Like people?
No.
Do you bite people?
No.
Do you know of people who do like to bite people?
No.
Do you have friends?
Yes, many.
Can you tell me about them, please?
No, I cannot.
So I'm going to say they're imaginary friends then. Did Maria work for you, or Haley perhaps?
No, she did not work for me.
I was told Haley worked for you.
No, she did not.
She danced for you.
No, she did not.
Do you like cults, perhaps?
No, I don't.
Like a cult?
No, I don't.
Okay, I thought we were talking about a football team here for a second, but we were talking about suspicious activities. Do you like to injure people?
No.
Do you know of people who do like to injure people?
No, I don't.
Did you have a fancying for Maria Jansen?
Of course, who doesn't?
You found her beautiful?
Absolutely.
Have you ever spoken to Maria Jansen?
once or twice.
And what did she say?
Nothing worth mentioning.
Did she mention she was scared of anything?
No.
Did she find you attractive?
Yes.
Oh.
Naturally.
Did she ask you out or did you ask her out?
She asked me out.
Okay, and what'd you say?
I said yes.
Did you go out with her?
No.
Oh, so we never got that far.
Pity.
When were you supposed to go out with her?
Never.
Okay, you just said that you said yes to going on a date with her.
No, I didn't.
You did. I have the transcript right here.
Well, apparently the transcript is mistaken.
So you found Maria attractive.
Absolutely.
And she asked you out.
No.
So she did not ask you out on a date.
No.
Saxabar, I'm trying to hook you up with a woman here, okay? Can you just, like, work with me?
No.
Did you find Haley attractive?
Yes.
Have you spoken to Haley?
No.
So you just creep on women from afar?
Of course not.
I'm sorry, you admire women from afar?
Indeed.
Huh. What was it about Haley that you liked?
Her captivating presence.
Did she ever dance for you?
No.
Did you want her to dance for you?
Yes.
Did you ever ask her out?
No.
Did she ask you out?
Yes.
You're getting a lot of date proposals.
Naturally.
You're a man of few words, huh?
Absolutely.
Does that bode over well when it comes to dating, or does it make it difficult?
No.
I'm confused.
You should be.
You are a confusing human.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Of course.
Indeed.
Indeed.
True.
True.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Sure.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
Don't be ridiculous.
You're being ridiculous.
Enough.
No.
Shut up.
Whoa, watch your mouth with me, sir.
And why should I, Detective Martini?
Because you're being horribly rude.
I am who I am.
I can see why you don't have a significant other.
You're not wrong.
So your narcissistic ways make it hard to date.
It's not my fault they can't handle me.
That answers itself.
Oh, please.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
No, and I couldn't care less.
Are you a hitman?
No.
Do you know a hitman?
No, I don't.
But you own scissors.
So what?
I'm still a rock star.
Good for you.
What kind of music do you listen to?
No.
Can I bribe you with a chocolate bar to give me some information?
No.
What do you like?
Myself.
Can I bribe you with a mirror for some information?
No.
What if I had a statue made of you? Would you then tell me some things? Marina, your eyes are scary.
Oh, really? Scary. How so? I've always thought of my eyes as captivating, mysterious even. But I'm curious to hear your perspective.
You've got a lot of facial expressions.
Well, thank you for noticing. I do try to express myself through my facial expressions. It's a part of my performance, you know? Is there a specific expression that caught your attention? I'm always intrigued to know how my audience perceives my artistry.
You look upset. Have you seen something scary?
Upset. Oh no, none at all. I apologize if my expression gave off that impression. I'm actually quite excited about something. But now I'm curious, what made you think I looked upset? Did something happen that I missed?
Well, your eyebrows keep going up and you're sad. You just look sad.
Oh, I see. I guess my expressions can be a bit misleading sometimes. But don't worry, I assure you, I'm not sad at all. In fact, I'm usually full of energy and excitement. It's just part of my burlesque persona, you know? I like to play with different emotions and create an atmosphere. So, what brings you here tonight? Are you a fan of burlesque?
No, I'm actually a fan of solving murders. Can you tell me anything about the murders?
Murders. I'm sorry,
Murders.
but I don't really have any information about that. I've been quite focused on my performances and haven't really been keeping up with the news. But tell me, Detective Martini, what piques your interest in solving murders? It must be quite an intriguing and challenging line of work.
Can you smile, Marina?
Smile. Of course, I can do that. But I'm curious, why do you want me to smile? Is there something specific you'd like to see or talk about? I'm here to entertain and engage with my audience, so if there's something you'd like to know or discuss. Please feel free to share.
You just look upset, and it's making me upset.
I apologize if I'm giving off a different impression. It's not my intention to make anyone upset. I'm genuinely interested in understanding why my expression is affecting your mood. Could you help me understand what specifically about my current demeanor is making you feel that way?
Have you been bitten by anyone recently?
Bitten? Well, that's a rather unexpected question. No, I can't say that I've been bitten by anyone recently. Why do you ask? Is there a specific reason or concern behind your question about bites?
Yeah, Maria Jansen was bit and stabbed by scissors.
Maria Jansen. Bit and stabbed with scissors. That sounds absolutely dreadful. But, forgive me for asking, who is Maria Jansen? And why would someone want to harm her in such a brutal way?
She was one of the
Quite
people.
unsettling to hear about such violence.
She was one of the people who have been murdered recently.
Oh, I see. I'm terribly sorry to hear about the tragic loss of life. It's truly devastating. But if I may ask, how did you come to know about these recent incidents? I must admit, I've been a bit out of touch with the news lately, so any information you could provide would be helpful.
I am the detective.
Ah, the detective. How intriguing. It's not every day that a detective graces our cabaret theater. Tell me, Detective Martini, what brings you to our little world of burlesque? Is there something specific you're investigating, or perhaps you're here to enjoy the show?
I'm investigating the murders. Do you know anything about Haley Greenwood, perhaps?
Haley Greenwood. She was a fellow dancer, wasn't she? Such a tragic loss. But, forgive me for asking, why this sudden interest in Haley? Are you trying to piece together the puzzle of these unfortunate events? It must be quite a challenging task, but rest assured, if there's anything within my knowledge that could assist you, please do let me know.
When was the last time you saw Haley?
Haley, dear Haley. It's been a while since I last saw her. We used to perform together, you see. She had such grace and talent. But Detective Martini, why this fascination with Haley? Is there something specific you're looking for, a connection you're trying to uncover? I'm curious to understand your line of investigation.
She's dead and I'm trying to solve her murder.
Oh, I had no idea. I'm so sorry to hear about her passing. It must be incredibly difficult for you, investigating her murder. But, I'm afraid I can't provide much assistance in that regard. You see, I've been solely focused on my performances and haven't been privy to any information about the murderer or the circumstances surrounding these tragedies. Do you have any leads or suspects in mind?
I think Count Gravison and Mrs. Potter have something to do with the murders.
Count Grievesson and Mrs. Potter. How intriguing. They sound like mysterious characters indeed. But, Detective Martini, why do you suspect them? Is there something specific that caught your attention about them? It's fascinating to learn about the different paths your investigation is taking. Please, do share more details if you can.
Haley was found in an abandoned warehouse.
An abandoned warehouse. That sounds like a rather grim and desolate place to find poor Haley. I can't even imagine what she must have gone through. But, forgive me for asking, how did you come to discover her in that particular location? It must have been quite a chilling discovery.
The coroner told me that's where she was found.
Detective Martini, I have to admit, you're such a fascinating person. You're here solving murders, and I can't help but be drawn to your mysterious aura. But tell me, what drives you to unravel these dark secrets? Is it a thirst for justice, or perhaps something else that fuels your determination? I'm genuinely curious to know more about your motivations.
You're right, it's my thirst for justice.
Your passion for seeking justice is truly admirable, Detective Martini. It's reassuring to have someone like yourself dedicated to uncovering the truth and bringing closure to these tragic cases. I'm sure your pursuit of justice will not go unnoticed. If there's anything I can do to assist your investigation, or if there's any information I can provide, please don't hesitate to let me know.
What do you know about Monsieur Saxabar?
Monsieur Saxabar. Why, he's quite a remarkable individual, isn't he? We do have a connection, I must admit, but our relationship is rather private, you see. I'm intrigued by your interest in Monsieur Saxabar, though. Is there a particular reason you're asking about him? I'd be happy to share whatever I can within the boundaries of our privacy, of course.
You know he's getting asked out by a bunch of women.
Is that so? Women are drawn to his charm, I suppose. It's not surprising, really. But tell me, Detective Martini, why are so many women vying for his attention? What makes him so irresistible, in your opinion? I'm curious to hear your perspective on this matter.
I would assume it's because he's mysterious and he believes he's handsome.
Oh, mysterious and confident, you say. That's quite the combination. It seems that Monsieur Saxabar has quite the allure. But, forgive me for asking, have you had the chance to meet him personally? It would be interesting to know if there's more to him than just his captivating presence. After all, there's always more than meets the eye, wouldn't you agree?
I have met him and he was very rude to me.
He was rude to you. How peculiar. It's hard to imagine someone as charming as him being anything but delightful. But, you know, people can be complex creatures. Perhaps there was something that triggered his behavior, or maybe it was simply a misunderstanding. Would you mind sharing what happened? It's fascinating to unravel the layers of human interaction, don't you think?
He wouldn't answer my questions and just kept things very short, so I find him very suspicious.
Ah, I see. So his brevity and reluctance to answer your questions left you feeling suspicious. I can understand how that might raise some concerns. People's reactions can be quite telling sometimes, don't you think? It's intriguing how our interactions with others can reveal so much about their character. But, let's shift the focus a bit. Tell me, have you ever seen my burlesque performance? People come from every corner of Europe to see it.
Did you see that behind you on the stage?
Behind me on the stage. Oh, really? I must confess, I can't resist a good surprise. What is it that caught your attention? Do tell me, I'm eager to know.
It's a man with scissors.
A man with scissors. How intriguing. That sounds like quite the unexpected sight on a burlesque stage. I wonder what his role in all of this could be. Perhaps he's part of a new act or a prop for the upcoming performance. The world of burlesque is full of surprises, isn't it?
He's
I'm
coming.
certainly curious to see how this unfolds.
He's coming towards us. It looks like he wants to harm us.
Oh, goodness. This is turning into such an exciting evening, isn't it? I can't help but be intrigued by the sudden twist. But, tell me, Detective, do you have any idea why this mysterious individual might want to harm us? It's like we've stumbled upon our own little mystery within the grand spectacle of Vaudville. Isn't it thrilling?
Maybe he's one of the murderers. Watch out, here he comes.
Wait, one of the murderers? How fascinating. But, I must confess, I am not aware of there being multiple murderers. Are you suggesting that there could be more than one culprit behind these unfortunate incidents? I find it both chilling and intriguing to consider the possibility of multiple murderers. It adds an extra layer of complexity to the investigation, don't you think?
We need to get out of here. He's chasing us.
Happy. What do you mean, Detective Martini? I'm not quite sure I understand. With the man with scissors chasing us, it's hard to imagine feeling anything but anxious or frightened. Can you please clarify why you think I should be feeling happy in this situation?
I said nothing about being happy.
My apologies, Detective. It seems there was a miscommunication. Please forgive me for any confusion. In any case, let's focus on our safety for now. We need to find a way to escape from this dangerous situation. Do you have any ideas on how we can evade this mysterious individual with the scissors?
Yes, I need you to tell me everything you know.
Everything. Well, Detective Martini, I'm not sure what you mean by everything. Could you please clarify what you're referring to? I'm always open to sharing information and having a lively discussion. So, do tell me, what specifically would you like to know? I'm here to satisfy your curiosity.
Has anyone mentioned harming anyone recently?
Harming someone. That's an interesting question, Detective. In the world of Vaudville, we're all about entertaining and bringing joy to our audience. I can't imagine anyone in our community talking about harming others. But speaking of harm, have you ever witnessed any of the incredible acrobatic acts performed in the circus SCARIER? It's truly a sight to behold. The performers defy gravity with their daring stunts. It's a mesmerizing display of skill and bravery.
I wonder why they only really mess with Marina and not the other ones. Because, like, all of her stuff has been updated first. And, like, now she has a face that moves. Like, she shows expression when she's talking about things, although it doesn't match up with what she's saying. Saxabar kind of, like, raises his eyebrows and stuff now and, like, looks around. And he just looks like he's always shocked. But her face moves the most. Like, I've just noticed that they favor her when it comes to, like, trying new things. Yeah, but I'm gonna go. This is more confusing now because they're changing how the storylines go. Did I spell skull wrong? There we go. Yeah, so now Nicola wasn't stabbed, but Maria was. Nobody was beaten with a shoe anymore. And, what's his face? The chief, Gretzky, he has no idea what's going on at all. He told me they all died in their homes and that Maria was much older and everybody else is still on the same page about her being younger. It doesn't make any sense. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.